Happy Thursday, everyone. Hopefully everyone was safe out on the roadways this morning. Very slick conditions with that snow, but you can warm up and stay safe by watching Studio 10 at 3 o'clock today, and some very delicious things coming up on Studio 10. Very excited.
Very, very delicious Studio 10 we're going to be having today. And yeah, that's because we are starting with the Girl Scouts. So we're going to have about 16 young ladies in the building, and each of them have a few boxes of cookies. Yes.
And I can tell you right now, all of those cookies will be gone by today.
I promise you that, which is a good thing, because a lot of the money that they fundraise and that they get with these cookies is that they're going to camps that the girls go to that teaches them about student leadership, about, you know, empowering one another and each other and themselves and their self-esteem. So it is a great opportunity. I never was a Girl Scout as a child.
Were you a brownie? I was a brownie.
I wasn't a brownie either, but it's okay. It's okay. I get to live through the girls, and you know what? It's fine because I get to support them too, and we all get to, and we're going to talk about that this afternoon.
All right.
Plus, we are having another guest re-welcomed back to Studio 10. It's actually National Embroidery Month, so we love supporting small and shopping local. So we have a young lady coming in. Her business is called Tagged by Tuck, and she makes these really cool mama crew necks. I think they're called Mama Crews. I forgot the exact name, but it's like a new trend that's happening. Yeah,
I need to look that up. Mama crew necks?
Yeah, so what you do is that you take a baby's onesie, and then you take a piece of that, and then you embroider it into a sweatshirt, a sweater, a crew neck that the mother wears. So it's like you always have a piece of the baby and the baby's childhood with you wherever you are. So she's going to show us all about that today. Get your wallet ready. You can buy one. Well, she has more than just the mama crew necks, but she's got a lot of things too. But she's got really great hats, which you'll need for days like today, and a lot of really great things. And we're always looking for those local businesses, those small businesses that we have all spread out through the 517, and really giving everyone in the community a chance to get to know them. Learn how you can support them too.
That's awesome. Well, I know a few of our coworkers here. I mean, you have Justin Bradford and Justin Kent. They're soon to be dads. So that would be a great thing to pass on. They would have to watch that segment for sure.
Absolutely.
And Mother's Day coming up in a few months here too. So if you're trying to brainstorm, you're always thinking of those creative gifts and can't think of anything, they're letting you know now how you can get those gifts.
We didn't warn you.
There we go. All right.
That's right. So we'll have that as well. And today, we are also going to say rest in peace to Bill Post. He was the man and the creator behind Pop-Tarts.
I know.
Yes, he was a Grand Rapids man, so we're going to talk a little bit about him too as well. And we are going to end the show off on a heart-healthy note.
All right.
Katie from Mom to Mom Nutrition, a nutritionist, and I like to say top chef, if you ask me. She's joining us as well, and she's going to show us a really, really great way for you to start your day.
Oh, okay, that's good. You need that fuel to keep you going through the day. I feel like it's always around this time. You and I are having to hype it up.
We're like, come on.
Let's go. We got it.
4 o'clock, we got it. And hopefully you guys got it too, and you can watch it all today at 3. And if you miss it, it's all right. Head to WILX Studio 10 on all of our social platforms that you're seeing there. And if you also are a small business owner and have something that you'd like to share with our community, you can email us at studio10@wilx.com.
Perfect.
But
that was great.
Then, yes, we will see you soon.
All right. And like you heard Rochelle saying, not only if you're a business and want to help out or want to be featured on Studio 10, just head to studio10@wilx.com. That's where you can send emails to. And also you can get interactive on their shows. They have a lot of fun questions. So if you want to participate in that and even have a little shout out with your answer read off. And then, of course, Nicole and Rochelle and Claudia always have fun little comments with those. So go to @WILX Studio 10, or, of course, their email, studio10@wilx.com. But I do want to give a quick look outside here in just a second. Let me adjust the camera, and we'll take a live look over US 127 just to give you a quick little view of what's happening out on the roadway. So of course, talking about all that snow and the slick conditions out on the roads this morning. In fact, during News 10 today at 11, Colton and I were looking at the First Alert traffic map, and Colton, those were all yellow. They were all yellow.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah.
And you know, there still are some highways that are shut down. I-94, at least in the westbound direction towards Jackson, as well as I-69 in Shiawassee County is still closed at this time because of accidents earlier today. So Obviously, it was a messy morning drive. And one of the things that we kind of talked about this a little bit on News 10 Today at 11. And my theory about why roads became so icy so quickly is because of how warm it's been. So my theory is that as the snow was falling, it melted initially because the roads were so warm. And then it really began to cool. So you had the water there initially, then it froze, then you added snow on top of it.
Yeah.
So you likely had a little bit of some ice and then snow on top of it, and that just made for a very slippery drive, and that's why we saw so many accidents. But the good news is that the snow has ended many hours ago now, and we are going to dry out for the rest of the day. But I do want to show you some of our snowfall reports that we have received. This is just some of them. Pewamo, they're in Ionia County, 5.5, I had to think about it a second, 5.5 inches of snow. Portland also saw about 4, and then Grand Ledge 2.5 has the 2.1. A lot of people have been commenting on my Facebook page. A lot of us kind of 1, 2, 3 inches of snow or so with this system. So we're lucky because the snow did not last as long as some of our other systems. That was moving a little bit slower. We would have gotten quite a bit of snow from the system. But it only lasted a few hours and it moved out pretty quickly. So that's why we didn't see a lot more than this. But there have been some reports I've seen across the state, some getting close to 6 inches. I have seen in parts of the state as well from this system. But I do want to remind you this, and I'm sorry if this is a bad reminder, however, but think back to last week. Last Thursday, it was 60 degrees across the area and feeling like spring. Today, not so much. We saw the snow, temperatures are in the 30s, and it is much colder. So the difference a week can make is pretty big in the state of Michigan, especially with this very weird and odd winter season that we've been seeing with a lot of warm temperatures and just a little bit of some cold and snow that's been mixed in throughout the winter season. And guess what? As we move forward, we're going to see more of the roller coaster temperatures even as we head into next week as we warm up and then we cool down again. So it is kind of one of those winters that which season is it going to be outside today is the game we've been playing all winter long. Now, looking at satellite radar, there's the snow that came through earlier today, well off to our east, Toronto, Buffalo, seeing that now. But off to our west, you can see a little bit of a radar return there. So what's happening is that our winds are changing direction and coming off more of the Great Lakes. So there could be some lake effect flurries around today, tomorrow, even into Saturday, but I really don't think it's a lot. So I don't want you to think that it's going to be a repeat of what we saw out there today because it won't be, but there will be some flurries around the next couple of days. But outside right now, much more quiet. And I want to show you this view from our MSU Skycam because you know, the folks there on campus do such a great job getting the sidewalks and the streets clear. And this is kind of what we're seeing across the area too, is that the roads are just now wet. A lot of that is thanks to the fact that temperatures have risen above freezing, and obviously that helps to melt away a lot of the snow. So if you're watching us at work or anything like that, your drive home today, a lot better than your drive in today.
Oh, good.
I don't think there's going to be much in the way of any issues outside as we head into this evening. Temperatures all across the region are in the middle 30s. Still yet, we may see a few breaks in the clouds or a few peaks of sun later today, but I think for the most part, it's going to be mostly cloudy here for the rest of our Thursday. But one thing about today, too, is that it has been a very windy day, too, and that's probably the biggest thing that we're noticing right now. We have those wind gusts coming in from the west-northwest. Look at these current numbers, 43 miles per hour right now in Ann Arbor, 31 miles per hour in Lansing, 35 in Jackson. So it is a very windy day, and we'll keep the winds with us for at least a few more hours. I would suspect that once the sun goes down, the winds will relax a bit, and we won't really see too much wind tomorrow. But the winds will pick up again over the weekend, especially on Sunday. It looks like that will be another windy day, and you can see the forecast here showing that the winds die down as we head into tonight. Tomorrow, likely in the 5 to 10 mile per hour range, so I don't expect it to be quite as strong. As that storm system that we saw move through moves away from us, you lose the pressure gradient that's needed to cause the wind. Not to get too technical, but our winds will be dying down here as we head into tomorrow. So looking at the hour-by-hour forecast, there are some of those breaks in the clouds that we may see at some time today. I don't expect it to be all that widespread, so we will see generally cloudy skies. However, as we head into tonight, we should see at least a little bit more clearing, and then by tomorrow, the clouds will actually thicken right back up, so we won't see a ton of sunshine tomorrow, except for maybe a little bit in the morning. Then as we move into the afternoon, there are some of those flurries that will be possible. I don't think it's a whole lot, but tomorrow, in addition to the chance of seeing a few flurries, it's going to be much colder. I have a high right around 30, 31 degrees or so tomorrow, so it is going to be a colder day than today. And we actually cool down even further as we head into Saturday, as the next few days will be feeling much more like winter. So if you're already trying to think about what you might want to do this weekend, know that Saturday is the colder day, 25 for the high temperature. And there will be a bit of a breeze too, so our wind chill readings will likely be in the teens throughout the day Saturday. And then on Sunday, we do warm up a bit, partly cloudy. However, I do think that there's going to be some strong winds on Sunday, so even though we'll get up into the middle 30s, it probably won't feel like it because of the wind that we'll have throughout the day. But overall, the weekend, no major systems, just a few flurries are possible on Saturday, and then we'll actually start to warm up a bit heading into Sunday. And then moving forward beyond the weekend, we do see that our 10-day temperature trend shows highs getting back up to the 40s by Monday. Then we climb to near 50 degrees on Wednesday. That'll likely come with a few rain showers, and then we'll cool down again towards the end of next week and into next weekend. So it is a bit of a roller coaster ride where we fall, rise, and then fall again. And then looking even more longer term, I don't have a graphic for this, but I will just mention it, is that once we get closer to the end of February, it does look like that we will be warming up again. So the end of February looks pretty warm. At least that's what our longer range models are showing here, is that, you know, it's a very interesting weather pattern where we just cannot see the consistently cold weather that you typically see in the winter. We just haven't seen that. And, you know, there's no ice on the Great Lakes. So it is just very spring-like moving forward here. And there's nothing that leads me to believe that anything will be different as we move forward here. But one thing that I have seen, and I saw another meteorologist post this on Twitter today, or Twitter X today, talking about the fact that El Nino is now beginning to weaken.
Okay.
So there are some signs that that's beginning to weaken, and typically El Ninos in general weaken quickly. And that doesn't mean that we'll flip the script and go right to La Nina. We could stay in neutral phase for a while. But that's an interesting thing to watch. How quickly does that happen? Does that happen before the winter season is completely over? Does that mean that we may see some wintry weather try to come in towards March?
Right.
Time will tell. My guess, probably not, but we'll see. And the reason why I say that is because of how warm it's been, not only here, but also in Canada. There's no snowpack, there's no cold that's been up that way. So I'm not all that optimistic about seeing the return of wintry weather, or at least a lot of wintry weather heading into March, but it's still pretty far out. We'll keep an eye on it. But we'll see. Early spring, I think that's a possibility this year.
All right, and it is looking like that based off the temperature trends, the records that have been broken in the month of February. And yeah, just going back to the temperature trend like Colton was just explaining, you were seeing that right there climbing back up into the 40s and even 50s by next week. So definitely a very interesting month of February. But again, like Colton was saying, more of those February-like temperatures are coming this weekend. So just make sure you're keeping an eye on that, especially after this little wintry system that we had this morning. Obviously, again, a lot of those accidents out on the roadways. So even with the first alert, a lot of accidents still happening. That's going to happen. So we just want to make sure that you're staying updated, being prepared, and staying safe out on the roadways. So again, your 10-day temperature trend right there. I will talk about the first alert. Oh, you got it?
Well, no, not yet. But what I'm doing right now is seeing
like, should I stall?
where we rank in terms of the warmest winters. So I'm looking at our website here that I can get that information and seeing where we rank from December 1st. So obviously meteorological winter runs from December 1st to the end of February. So right now, so this is going through February 14th, what I just pulled up here.
Can I show this or no?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm going to show it then. All right, here we go.
So this is the website that I use to look at this. And right now, through February 14th, we are not seeing the warmest winter on record in Lansing. We are seeing the second warmest winter, but you can see that 2023 is right there. So back-to-back years with very warm winter. The average temperature 32.8. That might be kind of confusing. That basically what that number is that taking the average, so the high and low, add those two together, divide by 2, get the average. So that's what we're at. So 1890. That's a pretty long time ago. That's the record warmest. But really look at this graph showing how, you know, over the recent years, it just, the sign is there that you can see just a little bit of an upward trend in our wintertime temperatures. So that's the climate change that we talk about. You can see it in the data that our winters are getting warmer, and this is no exception. We'll see where we end up here in terms of the total winter season, at least climatologically speaking, or at least meteorologically, I should say, not climate. There's a lot of
different terminology
words
going
there.
on. Yeah, there you go.
But at least in terms of the meteorological winter from December 1st through the end of February, that's the official winter season. We'll see where we wrap up on the 29th here, but there are a lot of warm days in the forecast. So I don't know if we'll catch 1890, but either way you look at it, it's been one of the warmest winters on record. Not a lot of snow. In fact, I can look that up too.
Yeah, well, we're about halfway through, a little bit more than halfway through the month of February. Like Colton was saying, through February 29th, that's because this year is a leap year. So instead of 28 days in February this year, you're going to have that extra day. So there you go.
And I just looked up the total snowfall. We don't have to show this one, but what I find really interesting about this is that we have not seen a ton of snow this winter. I think a lot of people can agree with that. But even so, we have picked up some snow, and it's looking like we have seen 20.6 inches of snow officially this winter season in Lansing, and that's not even close to the least.
Typically, what are we receiving in this area?
So typically in a winter season, we pick up around 45 inches of snow through the entire winter season. So that's not just winter. We kind of break that up because we can see snow in October like we did this past year. We can see snow in November, and then obviously we can see snow in March and April. So we don't really confine it only to winter, but just looking since December 1st, the record lowest amount of snow, and I don't remember this, I was pretty young at the time, 2002. Okay. From December 1st to February 14th, Lansing only picked up 4.2 inches of snow.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, I was too young to remember that either. I have no idea, no recollection.
It kind of looks like that's missing some data there.
Okay, so they're missing
some
data.
But even so, the record lowest are below 10 inches, so we're not really even close to that. So kind of interesting. I always like looking at the numbers and the data and see what it says.
Well, when we did get the snow, especially there was, I think, 2 different storms we got that really brought the snow. So that's where it all tallied up right there.
Right, so this is the least amount of snow that we have seen through this point since 2019.
Okay.
So it's been some time.
It has been some time. Well, like Colton was saying, the road should be clearing up the rest of the day. And until then, some windy conditions.
Windy today, but the road should improve, and we don't have a lot of snow in the forecast moving forward.
Amazing. All right, we'll see you coming up on Studio 10 and First at 4. But of course, you can always download the First Alert Weather app.
Yep, and we posted a lot of updates in there today in terms of the snow that was coming down. So download it. It is free in the Google Play and App Store.
All right, thank you, Colton. We'll see you coming up on Studio 10 today. Again, that is for free off of Google Play and the Apple App Store if you want to go ahead and download the First Alert Weather app. I know driving in this morning, that was a nice tool to have on your phone. If anything did happen out on the roadways, you got those First Alert traffic updates. So again, First Alert Weather app, download it for free off of Google Play and the Apple App Store. I do want to share what else we have coming up today. And before we get started with First at 4, I do want to bring up what Tanaya Jordan has coming up. News 10 at 5, transitioning with all of the snow. So in talking about this, here we go. Coming up, News 10 at 5 today. It was a messy drive for many this morning, and we're taking a look at the closures around our area. So this is from Tanaya Jordan. She is not driving. We have this on a little phone holder, a camera holder, so both hands are on the wheel following that no hands law in Michigan. She is not driving, and as she and a photographer took on the roads today, she will have more coming up News 10 at 5, of course, talking about the road conditions and all of the accidents across our area. Again, Colton showed the First Alert traffic map during News 10 today at 11, and accidents were being seen everywhere. In fact, almost the entire map was yellow, and usually it's green and clear. So, of course, you're seeing all of the backups on the highway here. And again, Tanaya Jordan will have more coming up during our 90 minutes of news, starting with News 10 at 5. And she'll have that at News 10 at 5. Let me backtrack to what we have coming up First at 4 during Mid-Michigan Matters today. Today we are talking about the Nature Everywhere program for kids and the community. I know today with all the snow, the cold outside, it doesn't really feel like getting out in nature. But of course, Colton was just talking about the warmer than average temperatures for the month of February this year. And as we approach the more spring-like temperatures and head into the spring season, this is a new collaboration between the garden or garden house, there we go, and then also talking with Gittigan. So a little collaboration between that community garden and this program right here to immerse kids and the community in nature more. And so getting outdoors, connecting with nature, learning more on the education and the different processes when you're gardening, or just interacting with nature and the benefits of that. So that is what's coming up on Mid-Michigan Matters today. And again, News 10 at 5 tonight, Jordan will talk about the many accidents around Mid-Michigan that were reported this morning because of the slick conditions. And then coming up, News 10 at 5:30. As you just saw in our live stream, and we will have more of that coming up on 5:30, Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson is updating voters on early in-person voting. And that starts this weekend on Saturday. So News 10's Riley Connell will have a full breakdown coming up on early in-person voting. News 10 at 5:30. Coming up, News 10 at 6, News 10's Aaron Bowling is sitting down on the trial for Thomas Olson for the murder of the Bath Township hunter Chong Yang, where more testimony is being given today. If you remember, Chong Yang, again, a Bath Township hunter, murdered in 2018. This has been going on for quite a while now. Again, we're in 2024. This murder happened in 2018. So more testimony being given today in that trial. Again, Aaron Bowling's going to have much more on that coming up, News 10 at 6 today. That is what we have going on during our 90 minutes of news. You also heard Studio 10 from Rochelle LeGrand and Colton Cichoracki on your first alert forecast. So something else that I want to bring up, tying into everything with the weather outside, and also one more thing that I want to touch on before I touch on You're Not Alone. Or actually, we can go to this one. We're talking about You're Not Alone. Something else that's coming up after News 10 at 6 today and tomorrow, focusing more and re-airing our Spartans Remember special report. So if you're able to tune in on Tuesday, that was the 1-year mark of the mass shooting on Michigan State University's campus. We had a whole commercial-free News 10 at 6 p.m., and that gave you expanded coverage on all of the events that happened that day when the mass shooting occurred, up to what is happening now to increase the security measures on campus and beyond across the state as well. So new gun laws taking place as well that went into effect this week. And whether you're still feeling those emotions from the mass shooting, know that you're not alone. We will be re-airing those, the Spartan Remember report that will be coming up after News 10 at 6 today and tomorrow. You can watch those starting at 6:30, or you can head to our website, WILX.com, and you can find it on there and also on our Facebook and YouTube channel. But know that you're not alone. If you are going through this tough time, whether it is from the MSU shooting or whatever else may be going on in your life, know that you're not alone. There are resources out there for you in the community. And so if you go scan that QR code with your cell phone's camera, click on the link, it'll pull up the list of resources that are there as a guidance tool for you. You don't have to use those resources, but that's a great starting point. So whether it's for you or someone else who may be feeling anxious, depressed, having suicidal thoughts, or facing a lot of stress, and maybe you're just going through a hard time personally. You know, life goes through ebbs and flows. So know that you're not alone, and there is help out there for you. I'm going to give another quick look outside because with all of the gloomy temperatures, that can have an effect on your mental well-being as well. So taking a live look over Delta Township, you're seeing all those clouds, the clear roads, just wet right now, but clear from that snow. And so, of course, earlier and through a lot of February, actually, we've been able to see some of those blue skies and even that sun. So maybe the cloud cover and the gray and the lack of color is making you feel a bit more down, too. So, again, the You're Not Alone mental health series, we're going to have much more on that coming up throughout the year here on News 10, focusing on those different stories from community members and healthcare professionals. Again, just taking a live look outside at Delta Township. This is what you're seeing, and it's looking pretty good, much different than this morning. In fact, I-4 or I-96 heading eastbound, or heading westbound, my apologies, very backed up with traffic this morning. In fact, saw multiple accidents, and I did see multiple Michigan Department of Transportation salt trucks out there clearing the roadways as well. So you're seeing that the effort they put in, roadways are looking much clearer now. But I do want to take you back to the 10-day temperature trend before we hop off here, just so you can get one last look at how these February-like temperatures are going to be changing into some of those spring-like temperatures, and they're getting a little bit cooler and heading back down. So there you go. You can take a quick look at that, and then I'll give a quick look over downtown Jackson, just so you can see the different areas across mid-Michigan that received that precipitation. Again, roadways looking wet, but looks like the snow has cleared. So there you go. Make sure you're staying up to date with the First Alert forecast. We're going to have Colton Cichoracki coming up during Studio 10 in just over half an hour here, followed by First at 4. Andy Provenzano will be in for our 90 minutes of news. We're so close to the weekend. We hope that you can join us later today on News 10 and have a great rest of your day.